What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 11 of games I bought recently, and I'm just going to jump into it. And basically, I went to Game Crazy for the first time in a long time recently, and one section that caught my eye was the sealed Game Boy Advance section, and they had some pretty good picks there. And the first one that I got was Astro Boy: The Omega Factor. Now, this is one where, not knowing anything about it, you look at it and you probably say, it's probably not that good. Oh, Astro Boy, that's an old anime. I personally don't know anything about this series beyond that. It's really, it's an old series. And I've heard over the years that this is one of the best Game Boy Advance games that you can actually get. It was made by Treasure and Sega. So, Treasure, the guys that did Ikaruga, among other games, worked on Astro Boy. And it really shows through in terms of the production quality and everything. It's basically a mix of a platformer, a shooter, and an RPG. The shooter portion of it happens where Astro Boy, you can kind of fly around the levels. There's levels where you actually just fly the whole time. It kind of plays out just like a shooter. Then there's the platformer levels where you're jumping around and you got your normal enemies. And the RPG element comes in where every time you meet a new character, and you meet a lot of characters in this game, you sort of level up in a way where you can increase your HP, you can increase your attack, your special, different categories just from meeting characters. So that's really cool and unique. The game is a lot of fun so far. The bosses are screen filling, the action is crazy, your attacks are like pretty over the top, big beam weapons, and it's really, really fun. I would highly recommend this to Game Boy Advance owners if you can find it. I got it for $10. I also got Metroid from the classic NES series on Game Boy Advance. I only paid $10. I haven't opened it yet, but I figured I'd pick it up because, I don't know, I thought it was pretty cool to have a classic NES game on the Game Boy Advance. Here's another one that kind of got mixed reviews, and some people actually highly regard it, is Sigma Star Saga. This is actually a really unique game in that it's a cross between a shooter game and, a regular action kind of adventure RPG. There's really two separate games almost in here, where you have the overworld map kind of thing where you can move your character along through a spaceship and you land on planets, and it's sort of like an over-the-head third-person kind of Zelda-ish thing where you can find items and do regular shooting, killing enemies. But then the really cool part about it is, think of it like a Final Fantasy game where you're just walking around and randomly you're tossed, the screen changes and you're in a battle. But in this game, the battles actually take place as 2D side-scrolling shoot-'em-up games. So think of it like you're walking around and all of a sudden you're in this R-type kind of, side-scrolling shooter. And it's really fast, these battles, It's like kill 10 enemies, kill 20 enemies, and you just shoot them down and you get experience that carries over to your character. And, the experience, they kind of intertwine between your character and your spaceship. And it's really cool. So it's like an action RPG game mixed with a shooter. The story's really interesting. You're sort of like a spy on an alien ship for the humans. It's pretty cool, and I enjoy it so far. Now, getting into the bigger releases this week, I picked up Killzone 2 for the PlayStation 3, and I'll tell you right off the bat, I have not even touched the campaign single-player mode, because when I played the demo, I wasn't really that impressed with the whole cover system. I thought it was a little bogged down and slow, where all the time all you have to do is just cover, duck, cover, duck, cover. Not really my type of shooter. I bought this for the online mode, and it doesn't really disappoint. My only main complaint with the game is, people going into here, if you play Call of Duty, you're immediately going to notice one thing, and that's really my one major complaint with the game right now. They add intentional lag. So, what do I mean by this? Say you go to shoot your gun, they intentionally add a lag of 5 to 6 frames between you pressing that trigger and the bullet coming out. It's very hard to notice at first, but after, playing it, you notice that the gun has a lot of weight to it. And they do this intentionally, but it's not that good of a thing. Because they kind of have sort of an auto-aim, and, in close gunfights, sometimes you can overshoot, you can over-aim, like it goes too fast or too slow. And I just can't find a shooting preference that I really feel comfortable with. And that intentional lag really kind of ruins the... sometimes I don't want every game to be like Call of Duty 4, but some games need to have a really smooth, accurate shooting engine, and that's what really hurts this game, is the shooting. But other than that, besides the bad aiming, the character classes are a lot of fun. It takes about 10 to 12 hours, at least for me, to unlock all the classes, and they got the snipers, they got the saboteur, my personal favorite, where you can disguise yourself as the enemy and infiltrate their base, an engineer that can build turrets, tacticians, which can set spawn points, you get the medic, you got the assault guy with the big RPGs and everything like that. Overall, they do a really good job with the classes. You can kind of mix different characteristics, like you can have the engineer can repair broken turrets. You can take that ability after you've used it well enough, and you can put that on the assault guy. So you can have your assault guy, the big tough guy with the rocket launchers and everything, you can have him going around repairing turrets. Or you can have your sniper laying down blood packs like the medic has to heal your teammates or heal yourself. So it's pretty unique in that aspect. And so far the online's been a lot of fun. Besides that problem with the lag, I would definitely recommend this to PS3 owners looking for a really fun and unique shooter experience. I also got Halo Wars for the 360. Now this is another one where I'll tell you I haven't even touched the campaign. I plan on doing it eventually because it does have 2-player online co-op, but I've been playing this online like crazy. It's a ton of fun. I've put maybe 40 hours in online so far, and one thing about this is you can definitely tell that this was designed for the 360. It's not like a port of a PC game or anything. They designed this for the 360 from the ground up. It's very simplistic. Veterans of RTSs, you're probably going to want to avoid this game because it's very streamlined. There's set places where you can only build bases, like in that one set place. There's no kind of strategy and choosing to set up a mini base and defend it over here or something like that. Very streamlined, but it's a lot of fun online. I love to do 3 versus 3 battles. They're very chaotic. You get teammates that don't have mics and then you end up losing. But there's a lot of different unit types. I think there's about, if you include the specific like Covenant leaders, I think there's like 22, 23 different units you can have in the game, so it's pretty robust. The strategy is typical rock, paper, scissors in terms of, pairing certain units that are strong against another type and, fighting them and all this kind of typical RTS stuff. Very streamlined, but it's very fun. It works really well. Mainly because I'm not a huge PC gamer, so console RTSs are not the easiest thing to come across. And this one does a really good job of streamlining the controls and making it simple. Highly recommend this for fans of, the Halo universe. I think you'll get a kick out of, seeing little Master Chiefs kind of running around on the battlefield. And anybody that wants to try out the RTS genre, I would recommend this over all other ones, only because you're going to be starting off with most people online, so it's not like anybody will have a huge advantage. And it's very easy to get into, very easy to learn. I also got Star Ocean: The Last Hope for the 360. I'm only 2.5 hours into this one so far, but I'm really enjoying the battle system. And starting off it was kind of overwhelming, where it's like a half-an-hour tutorial trying to learn the battle system. But once you get into some actual random battles, you get the hang of it pretty fast. And it's a lot of fun. Those of you that are not familiar with the Star Ocean games, the battles are basically real-time 3D roaming. You can control one character at a time, so you can control more than just your main character. You can do combos with your special attacks, and the really unique thing about this game is the blindside attacks, where if you time a certain button press right, you can come up behind enemies and score a critical hit, and defeating an enemy with a critical hit will award you with a bonus of 10% bonus XP. And you can get up to 120% of a bonus that carries from battle to battle, as long as your character does not get critical hit itself. So that's really fun and unique, and they have one for money and other aspects as well during the battles with the bonuses. The characters to me are kind of flat, not interesting. I never really liked the character designs for the Star Ocean games. But, it's a little early to tell, but I would definitely recommend this for JRPG fans on the 360. Would I recommend it over, Tales of Vesperia, Lost Odyssey, Eternal Sonata? No, but who knows, it could end up being really, really better than those ones. But I'm really enjoying it so far. The graphics and music are great as well. I also got Sonic and the Black Knight for the Wii. I'm really mixed on this one. In one aspect, some moments are really fun where you're going really fast when the game kind of seems to be controlling itself for you. But my complaints with it are the story just does not seem there. The controls can be really, really bad at times. It can get very repetitive. It has like all these different missions where some of them are really fun. It's like defeat 50 enemies, and the combos you can do are really fun. It is mindless, remote wagging, but it's still fun. It plays a lot like Sonic and the Secret Rings, but some of the missions are like where you have to stop and give villagers money, where it's like a mini game. It's like press A, up on the joystick, A and B at the same time, and you give them 20 rings. Totally boring, not that fun at all. But in the levels where you're just speeding through and the controls seem to be working, and they have this little mini game where if you slash the Wii remote at the right time, it kind of gets this combo going, and it has its fun moments. It's pretty short. I'm like 3 hours in, and I'm already halfway through the game. I just unlocked more characters to play as, but that's like the halfway point. There are a lot of missions. The graphics are pretty, actually. They're really nice at times. But I would only recommend this to the most hardcore of Sonic fans. I would not recommend this to anybody that is not really sure about Sonic, or you kind of just like the classics. Avoid this one at all costs. But it is, it's worth picking up if you're a huge Sonic fan. You might get a kick out of seeing them in a medieval setting. And the last two I'm going to do were also from Game Crazy. I saved these for last because I didn't want to go overtime talking about these. I got Eco for $8. Definitely an awesome find in the wild, because this game tends to go for like $40 online. And I also got Echo Night Beyond, which is sort of this action sci-fi horror game which I had never heard of before, for $5. Haven't played it yet, but based on the reviews it could be pretty good.